Good morning to all our listeners tuning into Hot Topic and Fresh News. Today, Monday, July 23, 2024, we're covering two major crises unfolding globally. First, in southern Ethiopia, landslides triggered by heavy rains have claimed the lives of at least 50 people in the Gofa zone, with officials warning that the death toll may rise as rescue operations continue. This tragedy underscores the severe impact of extreme weather in the region, which has been exacerbated by climate change. In another distressing development, over 100 Palestinians were reported killed near a Gaza aid convoy. The incident occurred as crowds gathered around a convoy of aid lorries, resulting in chaos and fatalities. Despite the Israeli military's claims of firing warning shots without aiming at the crowd, Hamas and other witnesses have reported direct attacks. The UN Security Council has convened an emergency meeting to address this critical situation, with the US blocking a motion that would blame Israeli forces for the violence. These are troubling times with significant humanitarian implications, and we will continue to provide updates as more information becomes available. Stay with us. Hello everyone, and welcome to Hot Topic and Fresh News, your daily dose of news, aired right here every day. I'm your host, Emily, joining you from New York City. With me today is my wonderful co-host, David, dialing in from San Francisco. David, always a pleasure having you on the show.
Thanks, Emily. It's great to be here. Looking forward to diving into today's topics with you.
Absolutely, and to all our listeners, if you enjoy staying updated with the latest news, make sure to subscribe to our channel, enable notifications, and don't hesitate to leave your comments. Sharing our podcast with your friends and family not only keeps everyone informed but also supports us tremendously.
That's right, and today's news items are particularly significant. I think they really highlight some of the critical issues facing our world today.
You won't believe what I'm about to disclose. Massive developments in international crises that are sure to impact many. Stay tuned! And always remember, folks, hot off the press.
Can you elaborate on the scope of the disaster in Ethiopia?
Absolutely. In the Gofa zone of southern Ethiopia, two severe landslides occurred, claiming at least 50 lives. This disaster happened after intense rainfall in a remote mountainous area, affecting not just locals but also police officers involved in the rescue operations.
What's being done to help those affected?
The local authorities are vigorously searching for survivors, but the conditions are challenging. The terrain and the ongoing adverse weather complicate the rescue efforts significantly. They expect that the death toll could still rise, given the magnitude of the disaster.
How widespread is this issue of landslides and floods in the region?
It's a growing concern. The southern nations, nationalities, and peoples region, which includes the Gofa zone, has been experiencing heavy rain and flooding for months. But this isn't isolated to just this year. The region has a history of similar events dating back years.
What's causing these extreme weather conditions?
It's primarily attributed to climate change. The warming atmosphere increases the likelihood of extreme rainfall, which then leads to flooding and landslides. Since the industrial era began, the world has warmed by about 1.2 degrees Celsius, and the effects are becoming increasingly evident, especially in vulnerable regions like this.
What long-term solutions are being discussed to address these recurring disasters?
The focus is on both mitigation and adaptation strategies. This includes improving infrastructure to withstand extreme weather and implementing early warning systems. However, the broader solution lies in global efforts to reduce emissions and thus slow climate change, which is fueling these devastating weather patterns.
Could you detail the recent tragic events at the Gaza aid convoy?
Certainly. In a devastating incident, at least 112 Palestinians were killed and 760 injured near Gaza City. This occurred as crowds gathered around a convoy carrying desperately needed aid. The chaos resulted in many being trampled or run over amid confusion and panic.
What has been the response from international bodies?
The United Nations Security Council held an emergency meeting to discuss the incident. While most members condemned the violence, the United States blocked a motion that would have officially blamed Israeli forces for opening fire on civilians. This has sparked a considerable international debate over the facts and responsibilities.
How does this affect the broader context of the Israel-Gaza conflict?
This incident significantly complicates diplomatic efforts. Just before this tragic event, there were talks in Qatar aiming to broker a ceasefire and discuss the release of Israeli hostages. Now, Hamas warns that these talks could be jeopardized, further escalating tensions.
What specific challenges are aid organizations facing in the region?
The United Nations has expressed major concerns about delivering aid, especially in northern Gaza where help hasn't reached in over a week. The volatile security situation makes it extremely difficult for aid agencies to operate and deliver the necessary supplies to those in dire need.
What are the implications for future peace efforts in the region?
The path to peace appears increasingly complex. Incidents like this not only cause immediate humanitarian distress but also deepen mistrust between the parties involved. It underscores the urgent need for a durable and comprehensive peace solution in the region, which seems distant with each such incident.
What's the latest update on the humanitarian situation in Gaza?
The situation is dire. Gaza's health ministry reported that over 30,000 people, including 21,000 children and women, have been killed since the conflict escalated on October 7th. Hospitals like Al-Shifa and Kamal Adwan are overwhelmed, struggling to treat the high number of casualties with severe injuries and bullet or shrapnel wounds.
How has the international community responded to these recent events?
There's widespread condemnation. United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres has called for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire and the unconditional release of all hostages. Meanwhile, Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas labeled the latest incident a heinous massacre.
Can you describe the conditions that led to the tragedy at the Nablus roundabout?
Certainly. The incident occurred as a convoy of aid trucks became overwhelmed by thousands of Gazans desperate for aid. Israeli tanks fired warning shots in an attempt to disperse the crowd, but the situation quickly escalated, resulting in numerous injuries and deaths, primarily from being run over by the convoy itself.
What are the broader implications of this ongoing conflict for the region?
This conflict has not only led to a tragic loss of life, but has also exacerbated the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. The north of Gaza, in particular, has faced severe devastation and has been cut off from humanitarian aid for months. The ongoing violence makes any resolution and recovery efforts increasingly challenging.
What steps are being considered to mitigate this crisis?
The immediate focus is on establishing a humanitarian corridor to ensure aid delivery to the most affected areas. Long-term, the international community must address the underlying political tensions and work towards a sustainable peace plan to prevent further such tragedies.
With such a grave food insecurity situation, what are the main challenges in delivering aid to Gaza?
The challenges are immense. Just last week, the World Food Programme had to suspend its aid deliveries after a convoy was swarmed by desperate people and subsequently faced gunfire. This illustrates the severe risks involved in just trying to deliver basic necessities.
Could you provide more details on the health impact of this crisis on children?
Yes, the impact is particularly devastating for the youngest. The Health Ministry reports that 10 children in northern Gaza have recently died from dehydration and malnutrition. Moreover, 1 in 6 children under the age of 2 in the north are suffering from acute malnutrition and wasting, showing how dire the situation has become.
What steps are being taken to address this catastrophic situation?
The UN and other humanitarian agencies are urgently trying to negotiate safer passages and more consistent aid deliveries. However, the security situation and the infrastructural damages greatly complicate these efforts. The need for international cooperation and immediate action has never been more critical.
As we look forward, what are the key things to watch for in this ongoing crisis?
We need to watch for any changes in the diplomatic landscape that might allow for more effective aid distribution and possibly open the door to ceasefire talks. Additionally, the response of the international community in terms of funding and on-the-ground support will be crucial in the coming days. Thanks for tuning into Hot Topic and Fresh News today. We've covered the intense and ongoing crisis in Gaza, and it's been invaluable having you with us. Please subscribe and activate those notifications so you won't miss out on our discussions. Your engagement truly makes a difference. Share our channel wherever you can. Every like and comment helps us grow and continue bringing you these crucial updates.
And hey, while you're at it, why not turn our podcast into your new dinner party conversation starter? We promise, it'll be more exciting than discussing the weather. Remember, we're here bringing you the latest every day, and there's always something intriguing on the horizon.
We're so grateful for your support and can't wait to bring you more.
So, keep those eyes and ears open, and let's keep the conversation going.
Stay in the loop, keep your eyes on the news, our channel's content will amuse.